Since its inception, the United States has been a democratic republic. Unlike her mother country, Great Britain, which was a monarchy, the country was formed off of its disdain for the tyrannical British monarchy, and thus, the United States government was modeled opposite of Great Britain's. America's first president, George Washington, declined the offer to become king and was instead inaugurated as president in 1789. Since then, America has had 45 presidents of many different shapes and sizes. One of the presidents many people tend to forget is Rutherford B. Hayes, who was president from 1877 to 1881. But what many people do not know is that President Hayes actually saved the South American country Paraguay. Rutherford Burchard Hayes was born in Delaware, Ohio on October 4th, 1822. Hayes' father unfortunately died 2 weeks before he was born, leaving him and his siblings to be raised by his mother. Hayes later attended Yale in 1843 to pursue a career in law. 2 years later, he would open a law office in present-day Fremont, Ohio, and in 1850, Hayes would move to Cincinnati and open a law office with lawyer John Herron. In Cincinnati, life was good for Hayes as his business flourished and he met his wife, Lucy, and had 3 children. Hayes quickly rose the ranks in the Republican Party and became known for defending fugitive slaves from prosecution and for being a staunch abolitionist, both hot topics in the country at the time. During the Civil War, while originally being reluctant in fighting against the Confederacy, Hayes officially entered the war in 1861. He eventually became a colonel and was even shot in his left arm, being the only president who had been shot in the Civil War. Near the end of the war, Hayes was named a general and was revered as a hero when he got back to Cincinnati in 1865. During his time serving in the Civil War, Hayes was actually nominated into the House of Representatives by Republicans in 1864 and won. Despite this, he did not come home from war and continued his fight until the war's end. Hayes once again continued to climb the ranks of politics as he won the governorship in Ohio in 1867. Hayes' priorities in office were to impeach President Andrew Johnson and for black people in Ohio to have equal rights. Despite initially planning on retiring from politics in 1872, Hayes won the governorship for a third time in 1875 and was urged to run for president in 1876. Hayes eventually won the general election despite losing the popular vote, a rare occurrence in politics. Because of this, many at the time considered his victory, in modern terms, a Mickey Mouse win. This would be a precursor for the rest of his presidency, as his one term in office was embroiled in controversy, starting with his ending of the Reconstruction era. But despite all of the controversy he faced at home, there was a small country south of the equator that would come to look at Hayes as a hero. In 1864, the country Paraguay was at war with the South American Triple Alliance, which was composed of Argentina, Brazil, and Uruguay. Like pretty much all wars, the fight was over territory. Since the beginning of the Treaty of Tordesillas in 1492, which split the New World between Portugal and Spain, there had been conflict in the South Americas. Despite an official compromise being made, Portugal was still unsatisfied with the amount of land they had been given, which was substantially less than Spain. Because of this, the treaty quickly became worthless, and a new one was needed. In 1950, the Treaty of Madrid was signed, making the boundaries more clear. Neither party was satisfied with this, and many more disputes arose, leading to more treaties being signed, none of which were liked by both parties. In the 1800s, as South American countries gained their independence, the conflict over land only got worse. Paraguay specifically had it the worst, as they were a smaller country when compared to their neighbors like Brazil and Argentina. By 1864, Paraguay had been fed up and officially declared war on Brazil, and the Paraguayan War officially began. Throughout the war, despite putting up a good effort, Paraguay was battered. Some say that 2/3 of Paraguay's population died as a direct result of the war, and some say even more than that. This number is in large part because of the Paraguayan leader Francisco Solano Lopez, who decided to prolong the war by engaging in guerrilla warfare for 14 months until he was finally killed. Many historians deem the Paraguayan War the bloodiest South American war. As a result of the war, Paraguay lost much of its territory to Brazil and Argentina. Along with the population being a fraction of what it was, and those living being extremely malnourished and on the brink of death, the future of the country didn't look too bright. When Argentina tried to claim a northern Paraguay settlement, which would further damage the already damaged country, Argentina and Paraguay decided to look up north for a settlement. Rutherford Hayes determined that the land should stay with Paraguay, and thus, the legend of Rutherford Hayes in Paraguay was born. Because of President Hayes' decision, Paraguay was able to rebuild itself in the following years. Today, Hayes is a national hero in Paraguay. One of Paraguay's departments is named Presidente Hayes after the president, and in it is the capital of the department, Villa Hayes. Each November, a celebration is held by the Paraguayan people to celebrate Hayes' decision. Hayes also has a museum named in his honor, which includes his picture and the letter which includes his decision favoring Paraguay. That is not all of the Hayes worshipping though. There is also a statue of Hayes in the local elementary school, a stamp with his face on it, and a soccer team named after the president. Paraguayan ambassadors are frequent visitors of Hayes' home state, Ohio, and have launched a program at an Ohio university to help Paraguayan students receive scholarships. Despite all of the love Hayes has in Paraguay, back home in the US, Hayes is mostly forgotten. Although Hayes definitely isn't the best president and was not a very major figure in US history, I do not think he was a bad president and does not deserve some of the criticism he gets. On a side note, it's crazy to think Hayes, who knew very little about the country and conflict in Paraguay, decided to make a decision on a whim and is now known more in a country thousands of miles from the country he held the highest office in. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, and comment your thoughts down below. I'm aiming to make a video like this every week and have a few ideas in mind right now. I'm also thinking about making content that is less researched and edited and more of just me ranting about kind of whatever I feel like or whatever is going on at the time. So if you would be interested in that, let me know and I will get to that. I hope you all enjoyed the video and have a great day.